I'll ask you outright, and you can answer as I read through this. Do you have the same or similar policies as these other big tech platforms like Twitter? Do you ban hate speech? Do you ban, do you ban wrong think? Like if someone has a political opinion that doesn't fly?
So let me go and take them in order because I think it's important for
Yeah.
people who wonder and say, what's the difference here? So again, our vision with Getter, what we do, this is the free speech platform. This is where we make sure that people who can go and actually express their political opinion without getting censored or shadow banned or algorithmed out of existence simply because of what they're saying politically. So you take a look at some of the guests who've been on this show. Take a look at Steve Bannon. Take a look at Alex Jones. Take a look at, I know Dr. Malone. Dr. Malone hasn't been on, has he?
Not yet.
Not yet, hopefully.
Okay, we'll talk about that after the show. But you look at some of the people who even have, look at James O'Keefe, who's just here a couple days ago. Look at Project Veritas, people who now have voices at Getter that were kicked off by Twitter. Terms of service for most all the platforms, doesn't matter if you're in the challenger platforms like us or some of the other challengers, or if you're in big tech. The reason why terms of service for many folks look so similar is because it's effectively your contract. And there's a difference though between the terms of service and your community guidelines. One of the things where we've come under and so our terms of service very clearly spell out, and it's on the both on the website and through here, but it says, for example, that without limitation we may but do not commit to is our attention to offensive, obscene, lewd, filthy, pornographic, violent, harassing, threatening, abusive, illegal, otherwise objectionable, inappropriate content. That's within, and obviously things like child abuse or beheading or different things like that. The terms of service, because since it's legal terms of someone, this is your contract with someone for signing up. That's why terms of service are going to be written in that manner. Where we are working to improve as a platform is to post, and we're working on this right now. We hope to have it soon. I don't have the exact timeline. More specific community guidelines, so it's even clearer for people. Okay, you guys say that you're the free speech platform. We realize, okay, that somebody who's been kicked off these other platforms, they can come express themselves politically, and no one's going to go and vote them off the island for talking about COVID or voting issues or climate change. There's not going to be warning labels, but give us a little more granularity. And that's one of the things that we've heard from people, and we're working to put that together to publish.
So we asked this similarly of Rumble. It says right here, Getter holds freedom of speech as its core value and does not wish to censor your opinions. Nonetheless, you may not post on or transmit through the service any unlawful, harmful, threatening, abusive, harassing, defamatory, libelous, indecent, vulgar, obscene, sexually explicit, pornographic, profane, hateful, racially, ethnically, or otherwise objectionable material of any kind, including any material that encourages conduct that would constitute a criminal offense, give rise to civil liability, or otherwise violate any law, rule, or regulation of the laws applicable to you or applicable in the country in which the material is posted. So I'm curious because the idea of banning hateful content, I mean, that's editorially defined. And I do want to make sure we say, as we go into this, Getter clearly is going to allow more speech than these other platforms. But I'm wondering why it is that Getter has the same language. We say that you outright say you cannot be, hateful racially or ethnically or obscene. And we see that same language on all the other big tech Silicon Valley platforms.
So a couple of things here, because again, keep in mind that for most countries, especially in the U.S., your free speech rights, for the most part, extend up until the point where they infringe on someone else's rights. If we're going to have a platform where we allow people to come on and keep it very real politically, to keep it very politically incorrect, if that's where they want to be, there have to be some standards in place to make sure that people don't think that it's a threatening or potentially illegal environment. But
Hateful?
But hold on, but you notice we do not use hate speech, which is a phrase that the left has taken over, and then it's like who defines it as hate speech, for example. But here's one of the things we're not going to allow to happen on Getter, and this is something where I get a lot of pushback from people. But they've said, or we've said, that we're not going to allow racial or religious epithets on the platform. I have not had one person who's come to me yet and said, you know what, if only I could use the blank word, then it would be an okay platform. The fact that I like Getter, except I can't use the blank word. It's just, you have to go and you're not going to make every single person happy, but we have to have a platform, especially being global. The U.S. is about 57% right now of our overall base. It's a global platform. We have to make sure that people, regardless of your religious or your racial background, that you feel welcome on the platform.